Origins of Darkhawk. As a teenager, Chris Powell discovered an amulet allowing him to don the alien armor of Darkhawk. Belonging to an ancient sect of Shi'ar assassins known as the Fraternity of Raptors, it provides immense protective and fighting power to its wearer along with access to its data song, which grants the ability to access memories and possible future outcomes of events. Chris Powell was born in Queens as the oldest son of Mike and Grace Powell. While taking his two younger brothers to an old amusement park, Chris witnessed his dad, who was a cop, taking a bribe from the crime lord Philippe Bazin. Unfortunately, some of Bazin's hired thugs noticed him and tried to chase down the Powell kids to keep them quiet. Chris tried to find some weapon to use to protect his brothers but only found a strange amulet. Unknown to him, this amulet was an alien artifact of a forgotten sect of Shi'ar operatives known as the Fraternity of Raptors. The amulet transformed him into Darkhawk, and he used his newfound power to stop Bazin's men without understanding what he had been turned into. After the initial discovery of the amulet, Chris' father disappeared and the rest of his family remained in danger from Bazin's men. He used the power of the amulet to protect his family and get to the bottom of his dad's connection to Philippe Bazin. It led him through a conspiracy between Bazin and the police, involving the creation of superpowered enemies such as Savage Steel and Lodestone. Eventually, Darkhawk's search took him to an island where he found both his dad and Bazin. Darkhawk was hurt badly, and his dad protected him from Bazin. But it looks like both Mike Powell and Philippe Bazin died and their bodies were washed out to sea. With that crisis seemingly over, though not in the way Chris preferred, he questioned whether to keep the amulet any longer. There seemed to be no need to protect his family anymore. But in the end, he decided that Darkhawk continue on as a New York superhero. Unknown to Chris, the Darkhawk armor and amulet were connecting his mind to a stream of information and memories called the data song. The technology he was using was not meant for human biology, and his mind had great difficulty coping. What resulted was a period of Darkhawk's history left ambiguous, comprised of both truth and delusions. Darkhawk came to believe a false origin of his amulet. It was something that his mind could more easily understand than the truth. He invented an alien crime lord named Darkhawk, who was responsible for the creation of the alien technology he was using. Then there was the Evil Hawk armor, which was used by Book to become Darkhawk's arch-nemesis. None of this was true. Evil Hawk was actually another configuration of Chris' own armor and a result of Chris' mind losing control. Another effect of the stresses being put on Chris' mind was an issue with his anger. He was losing his temper more often, and this caused even more friction with his already troubled family. Eventually, his anger drove him to move out on his own. A new warrior and avenger. Despite the mental toll the amulet was unknowingly taking on him, Darkhawk was a capable superhero. He joined the New Warriors, hoping some contact with other teenage heroes who might understand what he was going through would help him cope with the stresses he was under. However, he was never a regular participant of the team and only joined the New Warriors on a few adventures. Darkhawk's performance on an adventure with Doctor Strange's Secret Defenders impressed Spider-Woman enough for him to get an invitation to meet with the Avengers West Coast. He managed to get reservist status but never became that involved with the Avengers. The West Coast branch dissolved not long after he had been recruited. The Loners. Darkhawk's anger issues eventually got the best of him, and Chris Powell decided to call it quits. Being Darkhawk had become so stressful and put such a burden on his relationship with his family that his perception of teen superheroes changed. Now living on the West Coast, he joined a group of like-minded young heroes assembled by Rick Jones to stop the runaways from making some of the same mistakes they did at that age. Originally known as Excelsior, they later became known simply as the Loners. He got romantically involved with one of the people responsible for keeping the group together, Miki Musashi, formerly known as Turbo. After some time, fractures began forming in the group and Chris was very much involved in it. First there was the arrival of Maddie Franklin, who seemed intent on tempting some of the loners to get back into their costumed identities. Chris was one of those tempted. Another problem was Phil Urich. Chris and Phil were not friends. This came mostly from the fact that both men cared for Mickey. Phil's unhinged sanity was pushed to the point that he assaulted Chris and took the amulet, transforming himself into a configuration of the Darkhawk armor. Chris was able to make contact with the amulet and transform himself into another configuration so he could fight Phil. The rest of the loners joined in the fight, and Hollow removed the amulet from Phil, returning it to Chris. War of Kings. It was not long after the repelled Skrull invasion that Darkhawk came across another alien. Talon, an alien with armor very similar to Darkhawk's and knowing far more about it, appeared at the Powell house, bringing a hostile alien hunter drone with him. There was an explosion as a result, causing injury to Darkhawk's mother and younger brothers. Talon explained what was happening. He was a raptor, as was Darkhawk. Thousands of years ago, the universe was guided by the secret hand of the fraternity of raptors, but now the only raptors left were himself and Darkhawk. The hunter drone was sent by those who would see the fraternity of raptors never return. Talon said he needed Darkhawk's help and he would teach Chris the truth about his mysterious armor. Feeling that this was his opportunity to evolve as a hero like Nova had in space and not wanting to make his family a target by staying, Darkhawk left Earth with Talon, asking Mickey to look after his family. In space, Talon explained to Darkhawk that raptor armor was created before the rest of the universe had ever heard of humans and so was never meant to be used by a human. This incompatibility was the root of Darkhawk's mental strain, but Talon insisted the Darkhawk could learn to sync up with the armor and overcome this. They journeyed to the negative zone, where Talon led the way. A stream of information called the Data Song guided the raptors, and Talon said eventually Darkhawk would be able to hear it as he could. But Darkhawk's training would have to happen in the field, because the War of Kings between the Shi'ar and the Kree required their attention. In an attempt to steal the cosmic control rod from an insect lord named Catastrophus, Talon pushed Darkhawk to completely sync up with his armor by abandoning himself in battle. Darkhawk was able to call up a heavier configuration of his armor, and with that came access to the secret truth of his armor. Memories and information flooded his mind, and he understood what the fraternity of raptors truly was. The raptors did guide the universe as Talon had said, but they did it by lies, assassinations, and other such acts. They were not the heroes he had been led to believe. But there was more than that inside the armor. There was another consciousness as well, and Chris suddenly found his mind overridden by another's. The truth was now revealed. Talon was never trying to teach Chris to sync up with the armor. He was trying to awaken the raptor consciousness inside the armor so it could use Chris as a host body, as raptors do. Darkhawk was now Razor, and the two raptors completed this mission, killing Catastrophus and taking the cosmic control rod. Razor was confused by what was going on but followed his fellow raptors' lead. Razor said he could still feel Chris resisting inside, but that Chris' struggles were diminishing and would eventually be silenced forever. Razor and Talon then presented the cosmic control rod to Blastar in order to form an alliance with the Negative Zone King. After that, they returned to regular space to get more directly involved in the war between the Shi'ar and the Kree. While Talon met with Emperor Vulcan, Razor infiltrated Chandila, the throne world of the Shi'ar Empire. It was there that Lilandra was attempting to retake control of the Empire. When an attempt was made on her life by pro-Vulcan forces, Razor disguised himself and entered the panic crowd. The chaos allowed him a clear shot, and he assassinated Lilandra, but before making his escape, he was spotted in his true appearance by Marvel Girl. Powell regains control of his body immediately after the shooting and is confused by the chaos around him, unaware that he just killed Lilandra. He is then attacked by a grief-stricken gladiator and Havoc. Chris now proved to be in rather superb form, not only in control of his armor and its many varying abilities such as switching his metallic suit for a carbon fiber one mid-battle to escape Polaris magnetic-based powers, but he was also able to evade and counter-attack Corvus and to a degree Havoc and Gladiator till the latter had him. He escaped when they were bombarded from above. Talon tried to contact Razor and discovered that Chris had retaken control. Talon tried through the use of the data song to allow Razor to reacquire control and seemed successful in doing so. Razor then created a Stargate to jump to Talon's location. Upon arriving, however, it turned out that Razor never reacquired control and Chris engaged Talon in a very destructive battle as they tore through a Shi'ar ship. Darkhawk proved again that he was very much in control of himself and his suit's abilities as he engaged Talon once again until he managed to forcibly expel Talon and allow the Skrull commander Jake Jiku to reassert himself. The commander quickly realized that unlike Chris, he could not win the fight against Talon for control. After making Chris swear that he would find and destroy the other amulets, he killed himself by diving into the engine core. Chris, who was now about to be engaged by the Imperial troops, fled with the ship and went on his new path to seek and destroy the amulets. Powers and abilities. Darkhawk armor is a Raptor armor forged eons ago by the Fraternity of Raptors. It's equipped with a data song that gathers information through the armor and feeds information to its wearer's mind, including past memories and possible future events. The amulet on the suit chest grants the ability to create a force blast, generate energy shields for the suit, or force fields around others. By focusing, the wearer can draw variant armors from the amulet to serve a mission purpose, like the strike suit for example, which gives increased resistance due to its bulkier armor and carries micro-munitions as ordnance. The suit itself grants flight, enhanced strength, enhanced vision, Wolverine-like claws, retractable talons, a grapple cable, and retractable glider wings that can double as shields. The grapple cable can also be used to create raptor-like scout birds which the wearer can see through and operate remotely. The suit is also capable of space flight and creating interstellar jump gates portals.